Hello, my name is Danielle Blunt. I am a pro-dom based in New York City. If you're following me and watching this on our live, maybe you know that. And I'm here with Goddess Aviva Diamond, who has a new Instagram account. So if you aren't following or you were following, be sure to go give her a follow. But I'd love if you could introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aviva Diamond. My new Instagram is The Real Aviva Diamond. For anyone questioning, is this real or not?
It is, in fact, real.
It is, in fact, real. I'm a professional and lifestyle dominatrix. I've been working in the industry for well over 6 years, maybe 7. I kind of lost track. And I've been a lifestyle dom for longer than that. Let's see, my domination style has definitely evolved over the years, and always evolving. But lately, I've been into a lot of humiliation, cuckolding, training, and I always do love when someone has a strong foot fetish because then it's just so easy to control them. So I engage with a lot of foot fetish in my sessions as well, and I also just love the symbolic aspect of having my feet worshipped and having someone at my feet.
I would love to start there because I feel like it's something that I feel like we can have a similar style. And I feel like being able to control someone with your feet is such a powerful thing. And I think it's like when foot fetish is coupled with submission rather than just any foot is replaceable.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very powerful and romantic dynamic, like the romance of a foot fetish session for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're both fortunate to be blessed with beautiful feet, so maybe that's part of it. Yeah, for me, it's the ability. It feels so powerful to control someone and have such an impact on someone just with my feet. Like that feels really good, and seeing where you can take someone through the power of just your feet is amazing. Like seeing the reaction, seeing how someone responds to the smell, the touch, the feel, even to just get down on their knees at your feet and kiss you, and seeing the effect that has on them feels amazing.
Yeah, and like there's something like very obvious about like the height differential or like very worshipful of like kissing the feet as a way of honoring someone. And then there's the fetish components. And then there is just like when someone falls into that deep subspace of worshiping your feet and like being put under by your feet is so hot. And it's actually reminding me of like right before the pandemic, I have a very beloved foot sub, and I threw a going away party for him where I think there was 14 doms.
I was there. It was amazing.
14 doms there, and we played all of these like foot games with him. And at the end, it was like a multi-hour session. At the end, he had to be blindfolded, guess whose feet were whose, and learn 14 guest names. And I'm like, I didn't even know every guest who was at this.
Like it was an overwhelming number of people there. I was shocked at how this foot sub correctly guessed every single person's foot just by feel. He was blindfolded. It was like by smell and by feel. Yeah, by taste. So like using his senses.
It's like a sommelier of feet.
Yeah, literally. That's a perfect way of putting it.
He did do tasting notes, I think.
A little earthy, a little nutty. That was amazing. And for just to see his bliss.
Yeah, how far under he went.
Yes, underneath all those amazing feet. Like when I can get a sub high off of my foot scent, that feels amazing.
Yeah, and I think something as I've like refined my practice, I've noticed that I've used like less and less implements and more of like my physical body or my presence or language, or really just finding that way to get into someone's head.
I think that can be the most powerful.
Yeah.
Like the pheromones of your sense can be stronger than drugs for some people. And the words that you use, the tone in your voice, the way you're able to get into someone's head just through your body and your voice and your movements and all of that. I mean, you are the most like powerful tool you have to dominate and control someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it goes into the other thing that I think of when thinking of like really showing someone their place is like at my feet, or like watching me fuck someone else, which is another thing.
At your feet or at the foot
at
of the
my
bed.
feet. Yeah, like you can have my foot.
Yeah. Like you'll beg to kiss my toes while someone else is
Eat this
enjoying
cum off
everything
my foot that you don't have access to. So cuckolding is also something that we're both very into, and I think we have a very different approach to it. So I would love to hear a little bit about what you like about cuckolding, what you think is hot.
For me, in all of the cuckolding situations that I've created or been in, what it feels like is that it really is all about my pleasure. So I'm at like the peak of the pyramid, right? And everyone there's like obviously like different hierarchies. Like the cuck is at the bottom, but like the lover I'm with is higher than the cuck, obviously. But ultimately, it is all about my pleasure. So everyone is there kind of in service to my pleasure, whether you're the cuck or the bull. It's about what I want, what my sexual fantasies are, what my pleasure is all about. You know, how many times can I come? How good can I feel? So I like that there's people there in different roles, still in support of my pleasure and my happiness. And then people are able to contribute in different ways. So it just adds to my possible pleasure because you have these different contributions. And I really like the aspect of a cuck wanting me to be happy and understanding that they fall short in certain areas, that they are inadequate in certain areas, and that they don't deserve and will never get to experience me in certain ways. You know, like you will never deserve to taste my pussy. You will never deserve to put your dick in me. That's not something that you're ever going to get. But you want me to be happy and you want to be in support of me getting that from someone that I actually want it from. And so just to have someone contributing in the ways that they can, knowing that there are so many ways that they're not going to be participating.
Like knowing your role. It's interesting because I feel like I've always had a hard time understanding the cuck and bull, because I'm in my brain, I've actually had a cuck who has been used as a bull in other dom sessions, which I have to say made me feel phenomenal. Just for myself.
You're like, my cuck is your bull.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's cute. But it is all like relative. It's like what your dynamic is with this person can shift radically
from person to person. You know, you have one dynamic with one person, you have a different dynamic with someone else. They have different dynamics with other people.
Yeah, but the primary relationship that I'm in right now is with a cuck, which is it's really interesting and like very fun, especially. Or I think it will be even more fun after the pandemic because we've been quarantining together. So
you can incorporate some more physical cuckolding into the situation.
Yeah, but I think for me, like when I think of my like dream cuckolding situation, it would be cucking her with another submissive and making her watch me do all of the things that she wants done to her while she's like in the corner, not allowed to touch herself.
Yeah, denial is a big aspect of it for me. Like denying the cuck is a big part of what I enjoy about cuckolding. And like, you know that you don't deserve to touch yourself. You don't deserve to have pleasure. Like you're just going to be paying for everything involved with this date with this lover. And
maybe you get to watch.
Maybe not. Maybe you'll get to hear. Maybe not. You'll take whatever scraps I give you and be thankful for it. Like, wallet open, balls full. That's how I like my cucks.
I love that. And I feel like chastity can play an interesting role too. I've always been 100% more into mental chastity because I feel like it all ties in. I feel like we have similar styles. We both don't like brats. Fuck brats. No offense if you're a brat. Not my cup of tea. But like, I want someone who wants to be good. There's something about someone who like really is eager to please. Also, nothing wrong with brats, just not for me.
Not for me either.
Because I'm not into force. I'm like, you're either going to do it for me or you're not, or you're going to come back to me in 2 years when you've decided you want to do it, regardless of whether I'm going to take it from you or not. But I love the idea of mental chastity, where I know that someone is not going to touch themselves just because I tell them not to, and that is more powerful than any like symbolic key or device, or that a key or a device is just a physical representation of what I know will be the case.
Chastity, yeah. For me, I mean, I like chastity for the physical aspect of it, where like teasing someone while they're in chastity, like making it painful.
That's fun.
Yeah, like I
bondage.
enjoy causing that pain. And I do also really like having a cuck locked and having that physical reminder, especially if we're like out and like, let's say the cuck is at the bar watching me on a date with someone and like maybe getting turned on, maybe feeling very physically uncomfortable, but that physical sensation is just a reminder of the control and the power that I have.
I like piercings for that reason too.
Well, and then you can combine piercings with chastity.
Lock it on, lock it up.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah. My submissive was just telling goddess Aviva how she has a list of all of the rules, and one is no coming ever.
No coming ever. And the fact that, you know, you have that dynamic where it's like all you have to do is make the rule. You don't have to enforce it physically. It is enforced mentally.
Yeah. I do give her sometimes conflicting rules because she has to keep track. I'm not keeping track of her rules. And she's like, wait, am I allowed to? Am I not? And I'm like, I don't know. Only one way to find out if you're bad and you do it wrong. But having some like psychological elements into the play is really fun. But
the mindfuck is always the most interesting.
Yeah.
And you're like a master at mindfucking.
I do love a good mindfucking. Right? Yeah. But I'm so excited to like do her dream scene in front of her while she's watching. So romantic. I'm such a romantic. I'm such a softie.
You're so nice and generous to allow her to watch what she would want done to her. Yeah, I'm excited for more cucks to come into my life. I'm in this new relationship and I'm like very excited to incorporate other people into it, specifically cucks. Yeah, it's gonna be really hot.
I know, like what a privilege for someone to,
oh my god,
get to be invited into
the hotness of what my relationship is. Like we're like two very beautiful, amazing people, and so like what we share is so special, and the energy that we have between us. Anyone who's even considered to be included in that in any capacity is so lucky. Like there's going to be some generous cucks coming into my life this summer that are going to have their mind blown. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a good cuck is so good, who's like not needy, who you don't have to like, it's like truly not about their desire, which is what I appreciate so much about my sub, is that she gets off on prioritizing someone else's pleasure. It is not about her orgasm, and the submission doesn't end if she does get to come. It's just a reward, which is no longer allowed.
Right, no rewards for you. That's the difference between someone who's like fetishizing submission and someone who's actually submissive. And like when you have someone who really can empathetically feel, what their dom is feeling, and like they really do get so much pleasure from your pleasure. That's a big difference between that and someone who's just like jerking off to the thoughts of cuckolding and doesn't actually want to submit, or doesn't actually fully, is not fully invested in their dom's pleasure. It's more about what gets their dick going, and that is not something I'm interested in.
I know. I feel like the further I've gone in my career, I've been doing this around 12 years now, if I can do math. I think so. It's been less and less catering to other people's desire. And I say on my website, like, I'm interested where your desires intersect with mine, because like I would like to use your desire as a tool in my arsenal to control you and explore power dynamics and explore power play. But I'm not a fetish provider. There are a lot of really great fetish providers out there, and I'm not interested in what you want.
Yeah. It's, for me, it depends on the person for sure and their approach. And like, it really helps if they have an understanding that like, look, like I have a fetish around submission. Yeah. And like, here's my specific interests and needs. But if it's acknowledged, like the worst is when someone comes to you and they're like, I'm a submissive. I
want to be owned.
Yeah, I'm like, I would love to do like a long-term service and blah, blah, blah. And like, these are the things that like I enjoy. And usually it's the language, you can tell, because they're talking about what they want and what they enjoy, what they're looking for. But if they don't even understand that they're not actually submissive, they're just getting off to the idea of it and think that they're submissive, but are not actually going to submit to you, that's the biggest turnoff.
A session with a submissive who watched one of my previous conversations, which was about like the difference between a service submissive and someone fetishizing submission. And he was so articulate in what he hadn't been able to articulate to previous doms who were getting like fed up with him for like waxing poetic about how much they wanted to serve this person. And then the second that he come, just like, no thanks. But like, it's great when people can ask for what they want and what they need, and like, cool, that now I know that for like this period of time. But I find it hard because it's something that I'm interested in personally, is like longer term DS dynamics, when people kind of masquerade their fetish as something other than that. And it's just like, just fucking know yourself. Just like do the work.
As long as the boundaries are clear and I'm being paid enough to fill that role, then that works for me most of the time.
I feel like that's the other thing too, is that people think that submission and like service submission, or that being someone's personal submissive means that money isn't necessarily a part of it. But for me, and this is a conversation I have with my fem sub all of the time, and I think she actually articulated it really well in our interview that we did about woman financial submissives on my blog, but that when she started making money became part of the power that she had, and what she wanted was to relinquish that power to someone else. So she began playing with money as part of that dynamic. And I think people can get really tripped up about Femdom, or feeling like someone is like trying to like pull one over on you. But I think it's and like obviously people have their hard limits or have had bad experiences in the past, but I always think it's so interesting for so many people who are interested in intense DS and power dynamics, how money is always kind of like harried in a lot of those instances.
I mean, a lot of these people are like, oh, like I'm into, you know, submissive, you know, service submission, and like I'm into total power exchange and but no Femdom. And I think a lot of people have some hangups around it, and part of that I think is because there are different approaches where like some of the women who are like, oh, I'm a Femdom, like I'm gonna ruin you financially,
fuck you, pay me.
Like fuck you, pay me, and like clearly they don't want to be financially ruined, so they say that Femdom is like a hard limit. But I wish that they could look at money a little differently and see it as a form of power, a very tangible form of power that can so easily be incorporated into service and play and control, and that all you have to do is have the conversation around boundaries and limits regarding that. But I think you're missing out if you're not including money as a form of power that you're playing with.
And I found the interview that I did with my woman fin sub on some like BDSM financial domination blog, and they're like, this sounds like a really like thoughtful and respectful relationship, but like she seems like she's young and new to money, and like I'm concerned for her well-being. And she tells me all the time, she's like, I save way more money when I'm with you than I did before. Like I sent her to a financial counselor. Like we have very clear, like what she is putting into retirement, which she wasn't doing before, how she's saving up, like to take care of like a parent or something. Like,
because you're having those conversations around finances, because for you, it's important to have those boundaries in place so that you can have something sustainable over the long term. And like, I'm not, trying to rag on anyone who is like, fuck you, pay me, I'm going to take what I can get and like leave you and not
good for you if that's your thing.
Like
make your money.
Great. Yeah, exactly. Take the money however you want, however works for you. But personally, I definitely want some things that are sustainable and over the long term. And I always encourage subs to tell me, like, be realistic about what your budget is, what your finances are.
What's sustainable for you? So we can keep doing this hot thing.
Because I want to keep getting your money over the long term. Like, I don't want to just be like, use you up real quick and then you can't engage or serve in these capacities anymore. So I have one sub who's started to serve me in different ways, and they were like sending me a lot of money through my OnlyFans account, and then towards the end of the month, they were like, hey, like I actually need to like take a break. Like I haven't ever sent this much this quickly. And like, I, have these other expenses. So like, I just, I want you to know, like, I wish I could do more, but like, I have to wait until next month, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I super appreciate you telling me this.
And not just like disappearing.
Yeah, exactly. Like just communicate and we can work with whatever the situation is. Like, I'm very happy to work with people where they're at and what their budget is and all of that. But I definitely want it to be sustained so that next month, guess what? You can come back and like keep serving me in these ways.
Someone in the chat says money ruins the way it is. It demolishes everything.
Well,
and I
disagree completely.
I think we live in a capitalist society. Where money and capital have so much power to, like, sure, if you don't want to play with it, don't play with it. But
to say money ruins everything, it sounds like you honestly have some hangups and stories around money that maybe you want to examine, and maybe you want to like maybe even work with someone on addressing and even getting to understand what your ideas and stories are about money, because people come from all different kinds of backgrounds. They have all different kinds of stories about money. And if you think that like money ruins things, then I mean, you're going to find the evidence for that. But I love money, and I think it's a fun tool to play with power dynamics. And I think it's a really tangible, easy, and accessible way for someone to actually serve someone else. Like in this world, we need money. And like, if you care about me and you actually want me to be happy, then you should be invested in my financial well-being, because the stress of not being financially well is a lot. And
I feel like it opens up so much space. Like if someone's paying my fucking rent, I'm like, cool, I have all of this more brain space to like think about perverted things and be like my pervy artsy self and like focus on my pleasure. And I think to like not have that be part of a DS dynamic, I feel like it also like invalidates sex work or labor and the like intimacy that happens when holding space. We get so many fucking inquiries from people who like want to be a lifestyle submissive, but like,
or like
want to be owned. I want to live with you. People in the chat right now asking me. It means that you're not, if you're working, you're not dominating him.
Okay, again, disagree completely.
Conflicting views.
Clearly you have so much experience dominating slaves and taking money from them. But that's the thing, like people are going to have their ridiculous ideas about it. And like those kinds of subs who are like, money ruins everything, like transactional and it's not real.
Have fun finding if this caliber in your personal life.
If you're working, then it's not real. Honestly, the dynamics I have with subs who actually like give me the most money and pay for the most things, I have so much more of a genuine, authentic connection with them, because I feel that they truly do care about my well-being and my happiness.
And it frees up the space.
Yeah, it means that if I don't have to worry about these other things, I don't have to worry about my bills, I don't have to worry about hustling and like I'm more relaxed, I'm more at ease, I'm more comfortable, I'm able to better show up as a dom.
Take care of yourself. I think that there's something there that people think that money invalidates authenticity or intimacy,
right? Which because it's transactional, it's somehow it's also like not real.
What is intimacy and what is authenticity in the first place? Like we're all performing in some aspects of our life, and what it does for me is it literally like holds the space for me to be super present in a way that I'm not always able to in my personal life anyways. To be like that, someone wants like a 5-hour session, it would be very unlikely that would be something I would do with a personal partner.
Yeah, I mean that's
just because
of time and
to
energy.
Take the space to hold that space. And
but I'm happy to do that when it's like this fair exchange. I know that like
and it feels great and it's exciting, because I wouldn't necessarily do that intense of a scene if I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah. And like my best sub relationships and the ones that involve the most emotion and care and compassion and connection for both of us are the ones in which they're taking care of me financially, as well as all these other aspects, all these other ways.
Yeah. And I feel like to play with money doesn't have to mean that you're into financial domination. It can mean you're into power play.
It can mean that you're into just serving someone. in a very clear and obvious way. It's so obvious. Like, if you want to help someone, if you want to serve someone, if you want to make someone happy, give them money. It's like so obvious.
Yeah. And it's fucking hot. Like, maybe I have people who I play with money with where it's like a hot erotic component, and then I also have submissives who like love and care and support me and know that in order for me to be comfortable, safe, and secure, that supporting me financially is an important part of ensuring that. And they enjoy that, even though they don't find the exchange erotic. And we're not like,
they're not necessarily,
I'm not like controlling their finances,
spending, and you're not necessarily having all this control over how they spend and whatnot. But they do still understand the power and importance of contributing to your financial well-being. Like, if you're not contributing to my financial well-being, that's a sign to me that you actually don't care, and I'm just a placeholder for whatever little fantasy provider you want to see. Like, I could be anyone.
I think that's something I dislike. I'm like, on my website is very much like, why do you want to see me? Like, me specifically. I want to know, what is it about me that you want to serve, or has like gotten in under your skin, into your head, that you've been thinking about? Because, and I've actually never really seen like the hobbyists who go to see everyone, and I'm not totally sure why that's the case, but I'm fine with it.
And I think too, a lot of these guys who are like, oh, I'm not into Femdom, they're actually just using that as an excuse to like not pay for services, because there's a big difference between dominating someone's finances, financially dominating someone, and just paying for the services that you
there's that conflation. I'm not into Femdom, meaning
like, so
I won't pay you to hold the space
for your time. I'm not going to pay for sessions. I'm not going to pay for content. Like, you're just trying to be like, oh, I'm not into Femdom, because you are probably broke and don't want to pay for the things that you want. But guess what?
Because you want to be served. You want it for free.
But everyone has to pay.
Yeah, it's just
sorry,
it's just
not
the way
sorry.
it is. Yeah. We were also talking about like wealthy crypto.
Oh, yeah, I've been
cuck
getting off on the crypto talk lately. And I was just thinking about like how many millionaires are being made right now in the crypto world, and how many of those young new money millionaires would benefit so much from serving me, and would benefit so much from having a dominant woman in their life to make things spicy and fun,
and like tell them what to do with their money better than they know.
Absolutely. I'm so good at spending your money. So any of you crypto whales out there who want to have a little fun, you know who to contact.
Have a little crypto three-way.
Seriously, like, send me your Ethereum. I will happily take it. But yeah, I would love to connect with some crypto millionaires this summer and rock their world.
Someone says, would you consider being in a 24/7 DS private relationship in the sense that it's not work and paid? I am in and have been in 24/7 DS dynamics. And my partner will always financially support me since I was like very young. When I was like 3, I was like, when I grow up, I want to be a trophy wife. Like, why would I want to work? Like, it never occurred to me
that someone who cares about you would not be contributing financially. Yeah. Like, supporting in every sense of the word. And if your support doesn't include financial support, then you're completely missing the point.
Yeah.
So yeah, not just would you consider it, but living it already. So
cuckold submissives, what do you think about it? We tune in to the beginning of this where we talk about our love of cucks and cuckolding people.
Yeah. So fun with those dynamics. I'm like, yeah, I just had a trip to LA that was paid for by a cuck, and a couples massage coming up that's paid for by a cuck. I just love
cuck funded life.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to be. And it's like about the energy exchange. Like I was talking about this with you last night about the difference between having a partner who like would clean for me, or like help me out with some things on my website. And the difference between having a service oriented person do that where it becomes like erotically charged and it's carried through the dynamic is so different. Like it does necessitate that like both people, like I'm just not interested in force or like
force anything. Like, I don't, my domination style, I don't need to force you to do anything. I'm not interested in that. Like,
I will convince you by just my presence.
I want you to do these things because you truly enjoy it on some level. Like for me, the energetic exchange of DS and BDSM dynamics is such that when the other person is enjoying it on some level, I enjoy it so much more, which is why I don't enjoy like forcing things. Like I don't want to feel like I have to force you into doing these things for me. I want to know that you truly enjoy it and are getting something out of it, because then it's a win-win, and I'm all about the win-win situation.
Someone asked a question: does financial support go both ways? Are you also willing to support your significant other financially? I'm fucking generous. Like I am generous with all of the people in my life. I enjoy financial security and tend to date people who make more money than me. So that's not something that's come up.
I would say that like also the more that I become financially secure, the more comfortable I am being generous with the people in my life. If there are specific DS dynamics and specific financial dynamics between me and a person, I'm not going to like switch those roles just because. Like it's really dependent on the specific relationship that I have with someone.
It's very, very dependent. And like I feel like when you are invested with someone in a personal dynamic, like finances can change and shift and like things can come up, and like of course like
you're not going to be like I don't know, I'm sure there are situations where it's like things might shift and change, but if you have
someone gets sick or something,
like there's no reason why you would, with your particular partner right now, why you would shift into a completely different dynamic and you start paying for things.
Although that sounds hilarious. I would love to try and pay the bills for when my fin sub, and she would freak out.
You just like cuck her.
I'm like I got this, you little bitch.
I'm paying tonight. They'd be like, she'd be like, oh no. So there's some long questions, huh?
Someone's asking about bringing their girlfriend to a session to help introduce them to kink.
I've done that before. I've definitely worked with couples, and
she would have to be the one to want to, though.
Absolutely.
We were talking about this last night too, in the hot tub. Very fun. But like, I don't want to do a session with someone who doesn't want to. Like, both of us don't have like force isn't part of our style. Like, submission is what I'm interested in. So even like if you're trying to get your girlfriend to dominate you or something like that, I don't want to do that if she's not interested in it.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had quite a few couples sessions, and typically I really enjoy them, but that's only if both people are excited to be there.
And usually that she's more excited. She's the driving force.
Yeah. When it's more about like what the woman wants, like her desires, what she wants to learn. I really enjoy a couple sessions where it's about empowering her to like experience these new things. That feels really great. And I do enjoy like helping to facilitate connection between two people who are like in love and know how to communicate with each other. Like that's really amazing. But if one person is like reluctantly there, that's not interesting
awkward
to me at all.
It's so awkward. And I feel like if that partner is like reluctant but interested, it's like book a consulting session where you just like talk about what some of the concerns are, what's coming up, like what you are interested in, what you're not, what you're scared about, where your partner's not there. So you don't like have to
like, please don't try to force your partner into doing things to you that they don't want to do.
Like going to see a sex worker, but the sex worker will not be happy if your partner is not happy to be there.
And for me, it's especially like I like it more when it's centered around like what the woman wants, if there is a woman involved. But I think it can be a lot of fun if everyone there is willing and excited to be there.
Anything else that you've been thinking about or excited for?
Well, in addition to connecting with some generous crypto cucks this summer, I also have been fantasizing very recently about having a like hot, smart fem sub that I can control and can bring into my relationship and like use as like a sex object with my partner.
It sounds so hot. Yeah. I feel like you're just gonna be bombarded.
I hope so. If you're like a hot femme sub and want to serve a wonderful woman and serve a couple as well, then
like what a fucking opportunity.
Bonus points if you can manage my social media accounts for me. Make yourself useful.
Like I need a chef and chauffeur sub.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a consistent one. I like definitely have people who do that service for me, but have other obligations that prevent them from doing it consistently in the way that I would like.
I mean, I just feel excited in general, like being vaccinated and more people being vaccinated and everyone feeling like a little more comfortable with these interactions. Like it is on this summer. Like we are ready. I'm ready to spit in people's mouths.
Mean girl summer.
Yeah, we're ready. Mean girl summer. Bring your Ethereum and your Bitcoin and kiss my feet.
I've been getting straight up gold in the mail.
Amazing. Amazing.
Cash, the original.
And so many forms crypto. Of this power and energy that people can, bring to the table. You can bring cash, you can bring Ethereum, you can bring gold coins, And
I feel like there's so many ways to serve. I feel like very blessed in having some like really unique service that's been given to me, from like having submissive like babysit my friends so that I can go out with them, babysit my friends' kids.
Or babysit your friends.
Babysit my friends' kids so that I would be able to go out with them, because I was not having access to a babysitter was preventing me from seeing.
Well, and that's the thing, like these acts that like
had nothing to do with her
make
pleasure,
your life easier,
and had nothing to do with
nothing to do with what they're getting off on,
other than serving me.
Other than like if you get off on making someone's life easier, that's the kind of sub that I want. And thinking about that, if you are truly into like service and submission and like improving the quality of your dom's life, why wouldn't you contribute financially within your means? Like why wouldn't you include that aspect that is such an important part of supporting and making someone's life easier? What are they saying?
I don't know.
Do your own research.
Yeah, Google. Let's see. Anything else? I'm trying to think of like what I want to manifest. I really want a financial submissive who enjoys taking me shopping.
Oh, yes.
I love controlling people's finances, and I love like creating budgets for people and like having like a really hands-on approach. But something that I don't have a ton of experience with is someone who has style taking me shopping and is enjoying like helping me pick out outfits and like making suggestions. How do you
contribute to like the fun of going out shopping?
Yeah, it's like, yes, just give me your credit card, sure. That's something I have, and also like welcome to do more of. But like
I had a shopping experience recently with one of my like favorite Boston subs, and they were the best shopping buddy ever because they had all this like input. They've known me for years. They know my style. They were like, oh, I think you might like this. I think you might like that. And like making good suggestions and just having fun. And of course, paying for everything. So it was like a win-win-win. And at the end of the day, we were both like, wow, this is like the highlight of my week, was like going out shopping together. And it was just so fun. And
because I don't even like shopping.
Yeah, but when you have someone who's like, oh, look at this brand, or like, I think you might like this fragrance. It's like having a personal shopper, but then they're paying for everything too. And that's like the best.
The dream.
And also I like going out shopping like that with someone because I end up getting things that I wouldn't normally buy for myself.
Yeah. I think that's the big difference for me, is like, if someone's paycheck is just going automatically into my account, I'm not going to buy those luxury items. That's going like straight into my fucking savings.
Like I would rather save.
Yeah.
I would rather save my money. Like I'm not going to spend $600 of my own money on perfume, but if we're out shopping
and you're paying for it,
then I'm going to buy this $600 perfume and feel amazing about it. And so then I get to experience these things and have these wonderful objects that I wouldn't normally get for myself.
And I think I can get more specific about my fantasy, because it is a wealthy slut who is into feminization. Like, I have been having so much fun with feminization sessions and getting so into them. I had one the other day where they had like this beautiful like silicone breasts that they were wearing, and I was like titty fucking both of us at the same time, and it's like, I did not know this was a thing that I could do
or that you would be so into.
That I would be so into. But like having someone like that who has style and is like interested in fashion and like wants to take us both out and buy matching outfits and like go out to dinner and like with like little lingerie underneath and like go back to the hotel room after and just have a fucking wild time. Like,
yeah, like girls just want to have fun.
Girls do, and like, yeah, like dancing and dressing up and like doing your makeup. It's just it's so fun.
It's like fun, lighthearted,
so
like,
sexy too.
My favorite feminization sessions definitely involve like fun, upbeat music. We're dancing, we're trying on different outfits and doing your makeup. Like there's usually like not aspects of humiliation involved in it, and it's really more about like celebrating womanhood and celebrating being fun and girly and like just playing.
It's so playful and so fun. It's like just,
and like also highly eroticized. Like, I'm like,
so
like titties,
sexy.
like put these tits on and like.
You're talking about the.
Oh yeah, there's the one.
I haven't seen them. I want them. Manifesting those.
Someone that I do these feminization scenes with has these like silicone shorts with like a pussy like physically, you know, in it, and it's like a perfect skin match and it feels a certain way, and there's like a little juicy booty aspect to it, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so fun to play with that. It's one of my favorites, and it looks so realistic and it feels so realistic, and you're like, yes, like you are my girlfriend now, and like I'm gonna have fun like rubbing up on you and making you put on different panties and different dresses and go commando under the dresses and like easy access and all of these things.
And it's just fun. I feel like it's also just like so sexy, seeing people into something they're so into, like have that experience.
It's cathartic. Like by the end of every session, they're always like, oh my god, thank you so much, like I feel so relaxed. Just having the space to really let go and explore these kinds of like gender dynamics, I think is so important for mental health.
And like especially when playing with gender, I feel like more and more clients who play with gender with me have been coming out as trans and non-binary. And being able to just like have this like container of a space to do that and to like
and to be celebrated,
to be like called a good girl while you're fucking, is it just seeing people like melt into being seen and perceived in the way that they want to and need to.
Because there's just so much from living in a society where you have to fit into a very small box in order to be accepted by your friends, your workplace, your family. And it's a stress mentally to have to like force yourself into these boxes when sometimes you want to be out here or over here. And so having that space to just explore different things and have it be not only okay, but like celebrated and fun.
I definitely did a very hot cross-dressing session with someone, gender exploration session, and I like actually I made them see how what I was, because I was like, you cannot say that people are not into this because it's working for me. It's working for me, bitch.
And then I like to explore, you know, and play with gender as well. Like, you know, I like to be called daddy, like I want to strap on and like feel more masculine. Put my boots on and like all of that. So I think it's important to just not take it so seriously. Like let's just play.
I also like sluts with style. Like I don't want to put you in cheap lingerie. I don't want to wear cheap lingerie
unless I'm like ripping it open. Like maybe
for practical reasons, sure. But like
I'm not gonna rip your like $400
see you in fucking like silk and like real like French lace, and like I want to match you and like show you how fucking good you look
and how good it feels too. Like nice material.
Because for me, so much of like fetish attire isn't about necessarily what it looks like, but like what it feels like, and like having like soft goat skin boots and gloves and like silk gusset on the panties and or cashmere joggers. it's such a sensuous experience getting to explore these textures and these fabrics, and mommy will help you explore them all.
So yes, more generous crypto cocks who have an affinity for silk panties.
Yes. In summary,
in summary, you know how to reach
Femdom
us.
gods, please bless us with generous crypto subs who look good in silk panties. Well, I think that's it. Where can people find you? This is Aviva's new Instagram. So if you're watching this, go give her a follow. But where else can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Aviva_diamond. My website is goddessaviva.com. Aviva is spelled Aviva. And you can see my fan site, avivafan.club.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I am Mistress Blunt and can be found at mistressblunt.com. If you go to bluntlinks.com, all of my links are there. And I'm so far at Mistress Blunt on social media, besides TikTok, because I have no idea what my handle is, but I'm sure you could find me if you try it.
I just joined TikTok. Aviva_diamond there as well.
And your Instagram for?
And my Instagram is the real Aviva Diamond.
Not a fake Aviva Diamond.
Yeah, the real one. It's me. It's actually me this time.
Amazing. Well, I'm also looking forward to double sessions with you again. I feel like we used to do a lot more double sessions before the pandemic. So
yeah, if anyone wants some little
we have some chemistry, so
yeah. We'll do your makeup so nice.
Oh my God. Also, Femdom feminization sleepover.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
So
absolutely. We'll do face masks. We'll do nails. We'll do hair. Yeah. We'll, maybe double team.
Show you how to walk. I was like, show you how to walk in heels. You're like, spit roast you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there's so much more we can talk about, but definitely be sure to follow us and
reach out if you fit into the categories we were talking about.
Definitely.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.